much. In the meantime, we go from fastballs to slow dealings. As the NFL season gets underway, we're still waiting on a few contracts to come together, some more concerning than others. That hold-in season continues for 4 key players: running back James Cook, edge rushers Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson, and Terry McLaurin along the way. We're going to Oxnard, California first, where Micah Parsons continues to be present at camp but has not practiced. Owner and GM Jerry Jones continues to fuel the feud between players, fans, and the front office. They had a joint practice with the Rams yesterday, and things did not go well. No Micah Parsons in the mix. It all culminated last week when Micah requested a trade on Friday. Jerry telling fans on Saturday, don't lose sleep over it, but taking a different approach yesterday. Take a listen.
Your definition of urgent is not necessarily, I don't believe you gave a definition.
I did.
Okay.
I just asked when does it get urgent.
So I stay urgent.
Okay. Okay, any confidence that he will be on the field against Philadelphia?
Again, no. Absolutely not. That has to, a big part of that is his decision.
Right.
How would I know that?
Okay, Cowboys fans, don't lose sleep, but also keep your eyes open. Micah requested a trade, and so did Terry McLaurin. Things have hit a standstill at Commanders camp, where the wide receiver has been dealing with a contract conversations. He's been with Washington since 2019, posting 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons and 38 touchdowns. Last year, McLaurin and then rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels combined for over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. That was a career high for McLaurin. He wants to be rewarded, and Jaden Daniels would like his weapon back.
I know one day 17 will be running out here, and hopefully soon, but I can't control what he has going on with his business or, you know, the front office, stuff like that. I got to go out there and try to be the best version of myself each and every day, and just hope one day it all gets resolved, and 17's back out here catching passes.
As for the situation in Cincinnati, the Bengals plan to give the starters a lot of minutes this weekend in the preseason, except for Trey Hendrickson, who is also waiting on a new deal after leading the NFL in sacks over the last few seasons. Hendrickson arrived late to camp and has yet to practice. The Bengals hitting back-to-back yesterday, the Bengals hit back yesterday, I should say, naming Hendrickson to co-third string on the depth chart. So some drama brewing at Bengals camp. And up in Buffalo, the first episode of Hard Knocks dropping last night, peeling back the curtain at Bills training camp. Now, we did not see James Cook as he sat out of practice due to, quote, business. But you have to think that Kyren Williams' extension up in L.A. has conversations picking back up. Cook has 1 year left on his rookie deal. He's set to earn $5.3 million this season, coming off back-to-back Pro Bowl campaigns and tied for the most rushing touchdowns last year. Will he get a deal, and for how much is the question? For more on the hold-ins across the NFL, we welcome in our 2-time Super Bowl champ, Logan Ryan, to the program. And Logan, not all hold-ins are created equal, as you know. So you're going to give us your concern meter with each of these players we just kind of talked about, and we're going to start in Buffalo. Because we saw with James Cook, he has not practiced this week. He told ESPN, quote, it's just business. But it seems like in this situation, both parties want to get something done. So what are you expecting, and what's your concern level here when it comes to James Cook?
Look, no hold-in is ideal in the NFL. It takes extreme matters to even get to this point. That's why there's only so few. But if I have to rank them, James Cook I'm the least worried about it. And you hinted to it, Haley. It has to do with Kyren Williams' situation, him getting signed over there from the Rams, setting the kind of the base deal for James Cook somewhere around that range. The things that Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs have done is kind of brought back the running back market, not to where it should be, but to at least a decent place again. And I think James Cook's going to fall right in that Kyren Williams range and get something done soon. Look, he's important. They prioritized not paying a #1 wide receiver over there, but someone's got to take the load off of Josh Allen. He can't run the ball and throw the ball every single play. James Cook has been that guy. Josh Allen's had his best seasons with James Cook in that backfield. I think he's very important for Buffalo. I think Buffalo knows that. You see the touchdowns there. He's making history. So I think something gets done because that Kyren Williams deal got done.
And he was such an important part to the offense, too. It feels like it's just not when it's going to happen, or if it's going to happen, but when. And we also know that the Bills are going to open the season against the Ravens in that playoff rematch, so they would like to have him in the backfield for that one. Let's go to the one that's concerning me the most, Logan. Talking Micah Parsons here. He is second on your tier, so it makes me feel a little bit better, but still, when you hear Jerry Jones, which we just heard from him, we're 30 days away from that NFL opener against the Eagles, and it feels like right now we are 30 years away from any sort of conflict resolution between Micah and Jerry. I mean, from a player's perspective, Logan, when you hear the way Jerry speaks, how he does business, how he hasn't even spoken to Micah Parsons, I feel concerned, but why is this for you maybe not a level 1 emergency?
Well, I know your Dallas Cowboy roots are why you're so concerned here, but as a Cowboys fan, you should be used to this. This is what Jerry Jones has done to your franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott, to your number 1 wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb, and now to arguably the best defensive player of football in Micah Parsons. This has how business has been done. It's been ugly. It's been taken out long, and it doesn't make sense. We spend so much time talking about Jerry Jones's negotiation tactics do not make sense. They're only going to cost him in the end. I think Micah Parsons is doing a true power struggle here because he has Hall of Fame generational talent when you're on a list with all these guys that are going to be Hall of Famers or already Hall of Famers. So I believe business is going to get done. I believe that Micah Parsons will be a Dallas Cowboy. Now, is that contract going to be more in Micah's favor or Jerry's favor? I don't know. Highest paid defensive player of all time is looking like where that needs to be, and I think that will get done. I think this is more of Jerry's handshake deals and whatnot, but the Cowboys should be used to this. Their locker room is somewhat used to this. It's just very concerning. You have a first-year head coach, and this is what you're putting your head coach through in his first offseason, dealing with his best player not getting paid and holding in during camp. But I know that Jerry likes clicks. I know the Cowboys like likes and mentions on Twitter, and that is what this is drawing, a lot of talk. But I do believe that Micah Parsons plays this year for Dallas Cowboys, obviously with that 5th-year option. Now, hopefully it's for a brand new deal. As a player in me, I hope he gets paid. He deserves to be paid the highest defensive player. How Jerry and when Jerry does that is up to Jerry Jones.
I was at training camp last week, and it was so interesting, Logan, just to see the dynamic. A player who deserves the highest contract, and he's out there coaching up the rookies, and he's working with coaches on the side. It's just a really strange situation to see. But to your point, we did wait till the buzzer to get Dak Prescott to be the highest paid quarterback, so maybe that's what we're waiting on there. We will have to continue to wait and see. Let's stay in the division, though, and talk Terry McLaurin, because things are getting scary for the Washington Commanders here, Logan. He's also requested a trade, and particularly the frustrations are coming from he wants a long-term deal, and I think he deserves it. When you look at what he did last year, we heard from Jaden Daniels. We saw how important Terry McLaurin was to Jaden Daniels' success last year. Why is this situation, in your mind, more concerning than maybe what we're dealing with Micah or even James Cook in Buffalo?
Well, when I look at Jaden Daniels' success, I think that the Commanders have finally got a guy. I mean, they've been looking a long time to have that franchise quarterback. I mean, since Robert Griffin III, who couldn't stay healthy. And Terry McLaurin is his number 1 weapon. This is all about Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, right? You cannot be a great quarterback if you don't have really good pieces to throw to. Terry McLaurin is the only guy on the roster that runs the routes the way he does, that is in this upper tier of echelon of wide receivers, and he's been consistent on a very bad franchise. So to me, the Commanders have so much relevance. They have a young star quarterback, and now you're taking away his top weapon in his 2nd training camp. People talk about sophomore slump. It happens in sports. So when your quarterback is going to his sophomore year, whether you believe the slump or not is coming, you don't have his number 1 weapon in camp for him to throw to. You bring in Deebo Samuel, but Deebo Samuel cannot run the same route tree as Terry McLaurin. They'll be great complementary pieces, but now you don't have the number 1 option in camp to continue your quarterback success. This is when the Commanders should be loading in on talent, which they have done defensively. They're the oldest roster in football, so they only have a window now. You have a window with this franchise quarterback, with this young rookie franchise, young quarterback salary. You know that teams have a 4 or 5 year window to really load up and try to go for it. And that's what the Commanders were surprisingly had last year. Now this is their opportunity to go get it this year, to go try to beat the Eagles in your division. And you don't get Terry McLaurin done. He's earned a new deal. I know they're going to look at the age and say, hey, he's 30, and I don't know at 30 if we want to pay you, but this guy's been consistent. He's been a true leader a proven veteran, and he was consistent during the bad years. I think you got to reward him after the good one and get that weapon in there, because I'm worried about the quarterback, Jaden Daniels, at playing at that high level year in and year out. You need that weapons around him.
All they have to do, I think, is look at what happened to C.J. Stroud this past year. I feel like it's just a copy and paste, and he didn't have his wide receiver weapons because of health. So maybe they can take a page out of that book, but we will have to wait and see on that Terry McLaurin extension. Here's where we start to get really scary here, though, Logan. Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals releasing their initial depth chart and putting Trey Hendrickson third. I mean, like, listen, I get it. You got to do what you got to do. It feels disrespectful to me, and I'm sure it feels disrespectful to Trey. But this has just been an ongoing saga. I think a lot of people, Logan, have just been confused, especially with the Shamar Stewart situation, why they wouldn't want to lock up their veteran talent here. But what do you make of this? Are you anticipating Trey Hendrickson not being on the Bengals this year? How does this all end?
Trey Hendrickson is dug in. He is dug in as a player I've seen in a hold-in, hold-out situation. I can seriously see him considering sitting out games. I mean, he has all the arguments in the world on why he would do that. I mean, leading the league in sacks last year, being equally as productive as any top rusher, if not more, seeing T.J. Watt sign a very large deal, and they're around the same age. So, to me, Trey Hendrickson views himself in that upper echelon of pass rusher. His numbers show that he's an upper echelon pass rusher. His numbers show he's the best defensive player in Cincinnati, but clearly Cincinnati does not feel that way or do not want to rip up the deal he has and give him a new one. And this, you got to go back to, how are you going to win games? This is all about Joe Burrow as well. Joe Burrow and the window they had with those two wide receivers played lights out last year, and you don't make the playoffs because the defense is so bad. But guess what? Lamar Jackson is playing with a top defense. Patrick Mahomes has been playing with a top defense. Josh Allen is playing with a very, very good and had a top defense for years. And if you want, though, Jalen Hurts in that category with Joe Burrow and them as well, he's playing with a pretty top defense. And their defenses are coming back, and they're coming to play. So how is Joe Burrow supposed to win a Super Bowl? How is Joe Burrow supposed to make the playoffs with no defense, let alone having a Defensive Player of the Year candidate like a Trey Hendrickson year in, year out? So what are you saying to your locker room? What are you saying to your quarterback, that this guy who's earned the ability to be a top rusher, showed to be a top rusher, is not earning top rusher salary? He just wants to get that fixed. Cincinnati does not want to do that. Trey Hendrickson has all the right to dig in, and he's been dug in for quite a while. And I don't know if Cincinnati has the history like the Cowboys of getting this done late. They don't really pay these guys like that. So I don't know what else Hendrickson has to do to want to be a Bengal. He might not want to be a Bengal anymore because all his top sacks and all his accolades are not equal in the playoffs either. So I really got to think the Bengals got to say, hey, do we want a Super Bowl at all? If so, we got to start paying people on our defense and try to fix our defense to help out Joe Burrow and these other quarterbacks who have top defenses.
Got to help the defense. That's why they say defense win championships. Logan, we're tight on time, but I do want to ask you about Matt Stafford. We're getting new information about his back injury. NFL Network calling it an aggravated disc in his back. So obviously there's a reason why Sean McVay has been holding him out. What do you think this means for Stafford? And we got about a minute to talk about it here. What do you think this means for Stafford this season?
Look, the Rams are McVay and Stafford, and they're dangerous every time those two are on the field. That's what really keeps them together. This aggravated disc in his back already, I know he's had back injuries, is concerning. If he's not healthy, they are not the same Rams. There's other replaceable pieces. They've been good for quite a while, and it's because of Matt Stafford over the last few years. He's dangerous. He was a throw away from going to the NFC Championship last year, so I really would be concerned and look at this throughout the year, because when he's not on the field, it's not good at all.
You see the numbers there from last season, includes the postseason. Certainly some questions for the Rams. But Logan, we appreciate you taking the time to answer all our questions, and we'll see you in the booth this season as the NFL returns to CBS on Sundays beginning September 7th. Make sure you check your local listings. Your favorite teams could be playing on CBS and also streaming on Paramount+.